First up, we have Albert Market. I don't know if I'm saying that right. So it's a market that sells fresh produce. It sells everyday items like bags, shoes, clothes, etc. You can also buy a lot of souvenirs in this market. Get your street waffle from here. There is a place in central Amsterdam which does these really overly fancy ones with different toppings, etc. The reviews that I've read of those are not very favourable and they're quite expensive. Get your good old street waffles from the market. They cost, I think it was like about €3. Really, really nice. They make it like fresh in front of you. I was lucky in that where I was staying in Dubai, I was literally round the corner from the market. So I did go a few times to have a wander around, and it stretches a really, really long way. So as well as buying your street waffles from the market, I do recommend visiting the market anyway, wherever you're staying in Amsterdam. Anook Bakery has these really intricate bakes. I picked up a passion fruit mango tart and it was really nice. Unfortunately, by the time I got to the park where I sat to eat it, the kind of topping it kind of slid off. But in general, it was really, really nice. So definitely visit this bakery when you're in Amsterdam. Albert Heijn Supermarket. Again, I don't know if I'm saying this right. So these are supermarkets that are all over Amsterdam. They're just like a chain, like you have like Sainsbury's, Tesco, etc. Um, Good supermarket. I don't know if it's the cheapest one because I think there were some other chains there, but this was the one that I saw quite a lot in Amsterdam. There was one quite near me, so I'd go there and get my water and snacks and stuff. They had these really nice yuzu donuts, which I bought there. Um, they have, it kind of reminds me of what supermarket? I'm just trying to think of the equivalent of what it reminds me of here. Maybe it reminds me a little bit of Marks and Spencer, probably. I know that's what I said about Sainsbury's. That I think it reminds me of Marks and Spencer because there's like a fresh produce. Oh, you've got the bakery there, but there's quite a few around. But if you do visit one of these, well, a branch of this supermarket, make sure to check out the Yuzu donuts. Tony Chocolonley. Now, Tony Chocolonley, you can actually, there's a shop in central Amsterdam, but you can also make your own. And I thought, when I found out you could do this, I had to do it. So I went to the shop and you have, there's a machine there and you decide on like what kind of chocolate you want, whether it's dark, milk, white, the combination, the toppings. You can even decide what color the wrapping paper is of the chocolate. And you put all of that in, you pay for it, and you leave your number so that they can text you once it's ready. It takes about an hour. I don't think you have to necessarily go back the same day, but I don't think they hold it for very long. And if you're somebody who's going to Amsterdam for a day trip, then obviously you are going to want to go back and pick it up within the hour, well, about an hour. So I did all of that, and then I went about to see somewhere else, and then I got a text message saying it was ready to pick up, so I picked it up, and that was it. I really like that idea actually. It gives you a lot of sort of control over the type of flavors that you like and the toppings that you like. So definitely do this when you are in Amsterdam. Cinnamood is a cinnamon bun bakery. When I went to Amsterdam, it hadn't long opened, and like Cinnabuns are just everywhere at the moment. So I bought a couple. I'll be honest, I found them slightly doughy. They had a wide range of flavors, but the texture for me was a little bit doughy, like they were a little bit underdone. What I find interesting is that they're actually opening a branch here in the UK in Camden. They said second quarter, so look out for it. But if you're in Amsterdam, check it out, try it, and then let me know what you thought of the quality of the buns. I'm going to really butcher this name, and I'm actually reading it from the paper. Het Koekemannetje. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it. But they sell these really amazing cookies, and I got a chocolate chip cookie, and it was probably one of the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever eaten. So nice. It was delicate. The chocolate was high quality. The cookies, it was just one of the best cookies I've ever had. So again, I recommend you go to all these places I'm saying it, talking about. But if you can't manage to go to all of them, definitely go to this one. At least go to this one because the cookie that I had, still think about it now. Yo Fresh Tea Bar. And then, now there's a few of these around in Amsterdam, but literally where I was staying, there was one down the street. So they sell your kind of bubble teas, your milk teas, and I picked up a oat milk mango shake. So nice, so refreshing. Um, so if you're somebody who's into like bubble teas, milk teas, etc., as I said, there's quite a few branches of this around. Definitely pick up a drink from here. Especially when she goes to Chun. Now, Chun is a viral toast, field toast place in Amsterdam. They've got two branches now. So I'm not really going to talk about um, what I ate because it was savoury, but their strawberry matcha, really, really good. Even if you only go there for the strawberry matcha, really good. Chun, I think, is still really popular now. You can do takeaway, but if you are going to go to Chun, there are two branches, and the one I went to, I'm going to put a list of the addresses of everywhere where I've been to in the description. The one I went to is the less busy one, but you still had to queue because when I went for breakfast and it opened at 10, and I was in the queue at quarter to 10, and there was already probably about 10 people in front of me. So just bear that in mind if you do want to go, especially if you're thinking of doing it as a day trip. It might be, depending what time you get into central Amsterdam, it might be one of the first places you go to, but definitely try the strawberry matcha. And those are my sweet recommendations. I confess, last year I went to Amsterdam last year, and I actually ended up going twice. First was as a day trip, and then second I went for 3 days because the day trip for me wasn't enough, and I loved it. I know Amsterdam, most people go for certain aspects, certain things. I'm not going to talk about it on here, but you know what I'm talking about. But I just really liked it. Where I was staying, it wasn't in the center. It's kind of a bit more on the outskirts, and I just explored that area, explored the kind of sort of more residential areas, and I absolutely loved it. I'm planning to go back to Amsterdam quite soon. So if you haven't been to Amsterdam, definitely go. I think it's a really good place to go, especially if you're traveling solo like I did. And if you're thinking about doing solo travel and you're thinking, oh, where do I want to go? I would suggest start with cities within your country just to build up your confidence, and then start to explore sort of nearby places. So obviously I live in the UK. So I've been to Amsterdam and I've been to Brussels, and I've been further afield. Like Barbados is like my furthest solo trip, but definitely solo trip friendly. I've done 3 or 4 videos. I will put them here of my travels in Amsterdam and everything I ate. Until next time, Kate lovers.